In the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister delivers key speech on sustainable development at G20 summit. Processing and manufacturing industries drive strong FDI growth. In Inner World News, nearly 100 food aid trucks looted in Gaza.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. On Wednesday morning, starting the second phase of the 8th session, the National Assembly discussed the draft law on teachers. The session began with the National Assembly Standing Committee extending their warmest wishes to veteran teachers, National Assembly deputies working in the education sectors, and nearly 1.6 million teachers and education managers across the country. During the discussions, deputies unanimously agree on the necessity of developing this law. They share their views on teacher recruitment authority, identifying it as a crucial factor in addressing recent teacher surpluses and shortages. The deputies concurred on the importance of reviewing and implementing reasonable policies, as well as establishing specific regulations on teachers' obligations. In addition, they emphasized the need to include an obligation for creating a friendly educational environment. It was stressed that teachers should adopt a friendly approach toward students, accommodating their diverse abilities of each learner. On Tuesday night, Vietnam time, the G20 summit continued under the chairmanship of Brazilian President Lula da Silva. Prime Minister Phie delivered an important speech at the discussion sessions on sustainable development and energy transition.
At the discussion session, leaders assessed that the progress in implementing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals is slowing down, emphasizing the difficulties that developing countries face in ensuring a fair energy transition. In his speech, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh stressed that every action we take today will determine the fate of future generations. With that perspective, Vietnam pledges to make every effort, together with other countries, partners, and the international community, to achieve the goal of net zero emissions before 2050, for a green, clean, beautiful, and sustainable world for future generations. To help put the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals back on track and ensure their timely completion, the Prime Minister shared 3 proposals with the conference. First, focus on promoting 3 key transformations. Second, prioritize investment in people. Third, foster innovative financial cooperation models and effective investment. The Prime Minister also announced that Vietnam will host the Green Growth Partnership and Global Goals Summit in April next year.
On Tuesday night in Vientiane, Laos, Star Telecom company Unitel, a joint venture between Viettel Group and Laos Asia Telecom of the Lao Ministry of National Defense, launched its 5G service. This event marked a major milestone in Laos' journey of technological innovations and digital transformation, making it Viettel's 3rd market to commercialize 5G this year. In its 15 years, Unitel has grown to become Laos' largest telecommunications enterprise, providing jobs for nearly 30,000 Laos workers and allocating up to $30 million for sponsorship and charity activities. To commemorate this occasion, General Chansamon Chanyalat, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Defense of Laos, and General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense of Vietnam, acting on behalf of their respective governments, presented Unitel with the first-class medal of the Laos President and the second-class labor medal of the President of the Socialist Republics of Vietnam. The signing ceremony for cooperation between the Vietnamese government and the Wallonia-Brussels Federation's Belgium took place on Tuesday in Belgium, following the 12 sessions of the Joint Standing Committee. The approved documents outline a 3-year cooperation framework for the next 3 years, aiming to implement 17 projects in health, French language teaching, culture, logistics, sustainable agriculture, and climate change. Over 30 years of cooperation, the two sides have implemented more than 800 projects across various fields. This includes nearly 1,000 scholarships awarded by the Wallonia-Brussels diplomatic agencies to Vietnamese students, lecturers, and researchers, as well as exchanges involving about 2,000 experts between the two countries. The processing and manufacturing industries have consistently accounted for a high share of foreign direct investment (FDI), with capital disbursement in this sector showing promising growth. This trend underscores the resilience and attractiveness of Vietnam's economy to foreign investors.
After launching 3 production facilities, this printing machinery factory has seen annual revenue growth of 130% to 150%. The higher investment returns in Vietnam are key reasons why this Japanese investor has decided to increase capital and expand its investment.
We plan to develop a new production line in Vietnam for electric machinery tools. We are scheduled to build additional facilities next year, which will raise our investment scale.
The concentration of FDI into the processing and manufacturing industries is drawing top high-tech industrial partners to Vietnam, with over 50 semiconductor companies now operating in the country, including global leaders such as Intel, Amkor, and Hana Ampere.
Some companies have already invested in small chip and semiconductor production in Haiphong. Large companies are interested in setting up factories for more critical stages in semiconductor packaging and production.
The international organization to foster public-private cooperation, which means cooperation between business, governments, and civil society.
Vietnam's low labor costs remain a key factor in attracting foreign investors. The government's active implementation of a plan to train 50,000 workers for the semiconductor industry by 2030 is a crucial step towards integrating Vietnam into the global technology value chain.
Bạc Liêu province aims to become the country's shrimp production hub and has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in high-tech agricultural zones. However, many businesses still struggle due to persistent policy obstacles.
For the past 5 years, this business has been unable to begin operations at this high-tech agricultural zone for shrimp development. Despite completing all necessary procedures, the company still hasn't been granted land use rights.
I hope the local authorities will expedite the issuance of permits so we can begin construction.
We hope that businesses will soon be granted land use certificates so they can meet the conditions necessary to begin their operations.
According to the Provincial People's Committee, the project was established based on a decision by the Prime Minister, in accordance with the 2008 high-tech law. However, when processing land procedures, the 2013 land law only addresses land for economic zones, industrial zones, and high-tech zones. Currently, the high-tech zone here is classified as agricultural land and the province does not have a high-tech zone.
The province is requesting that the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment allocate land use quotas for a high-tech zone, providing the necessary foundation for the province to move forward with implementation.
The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment has issued guidelines to address the issue for the shrimp development high-tech zone. With this decisive intervention, it's expected that this multi-billion-dollar project will no longer lie dormant as grazing land.
The Long Sập Vietnam Pa Hang Laos International Border Gate Pier was officially launched with a ceremony held in Sơn La Province on Tuesday. The International Border Gate Pier is expected to facilitate comprehensive exchanges between the border provinces of Vietnam and Laos, contributing to the economic, social, defense, and security development of both countries' border areas. It will also enhance regional connectivity and support the building of the ASEAN community, resulting in the strengthening and development of the special friendship between Vietnam and Laos. And before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, November 11th. Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnamese educators through the eyes of their students. And Hoa Binh province to boost tourism sectors. November 20th, Vietnamese Teachers' Day, is a cherished occasion for students to express gratitude to their teachers. The day is marked by heartwarming scenes of fresh bouquet through thoughtful gifts, warm smiles, and touching reunions between generations of students and teachers. In Vietnamese culture, families have long valued education, encouraging their children to study diligently as a source of pride and honor. The teaching profession holds a revered position in society. Vietnamese Teachers' Day isn't just a holiday for educators, it's an opportunity for the entire nation to honor those dedicated to education. In an era of rapidly advancing technologies, the role of education and teachers has become more important than ever. Teachers do more than impart knowledge. They guide students in developing essential life skills and shaping their personalities. Teachers not only listen but also coach and mentors their students. In a modern learning environment, a good teacher must be knowledgeable about their subject while understanding and caring for a student's emotional needs. On the occasions of Vietnamese Teachers' Day, November 20th, students in many Hanoi schools express their gratitude and heartfelt love for their teachers in various ways.
The teacher of the happy class won first prize in the video contest Teachers Through My Eyes, held in Hanoi. The video created by the students of class 7A10 in Cầu Giấy Secondary School.
She's not only support us in learning, but also foster our positive traits such as kindness, compassion, and empathy. Teacher Xuân is number one.
Teacher Xuân is one of the thousands of Vietnamese teachers who have been honored in the clip contest launched by the Vietnam Education Union to celebrate Vietnamese Teachers' Day. Each story is an unforgettable memory shared by both students and teachers.
The award makes us very happy, but most importantly, we were able to convey our heartfelt love to our teacher.
My students express their love and respect with all their hearts. This is one of the most meaningful presents in my teaching career.
Students in Trí Đức High School fondly call their teachers mother and father.
Our teachers are very supportive. They take care of our needs and help us thrive in our daily lives. I like calling them fathers and mothers.
There are no parents in the school. My students are my kids. I'll love, teach, and protect them like they're my own children. Understanding their feelings and emotional changes during puberty is key to narrowing the gap between teachers and students.
A school is like a big family with teachers as parents and students as their kids. Compassion and empathy can bridge the gap between students and teachers. Today, teachers are no longer merely transmitters of knowledge, but also guides and promoters of students' learning.
And President Ho Chi Minh once said, Being a kindergarten teacher means taking on the role of a mother. To do this, one must have a deep, immense love for children. With a deep passion for their professions and profound love for children, the preschool teachers along the Central Highlands border have tirelessly overcome challenges. These teachers have dedicated themselves to nurturing and educating young children, becoming a steadfast support for the people and villages in the region.
At 10 p.m. in the border commune of Iatơi, the pig rubber latex harvesting season is underway. While everyone else is preparing to sleep, these rubber tappers take their children to school. With more than 10 years as a preschool teacher at 4-3 kindergarten, Trần Thị Mùi, who once felt foreign to the nighttime routine, has now grown accustomed to the schedule of the tappers.
At that time, some children would sleep while others couldn't. I need to soothe them, talk to them, and do everything I can to keep them from crying. When a child was sick, I stay awake all night to care for them.
The main concern of kindergarten teachers in the border areas is ensuring that the children attend school regularly and become proficient in Vietnamese.
For the ethnic children, I need to encourage them to speak Vietnamese at all times. I decorate the classrooms with Vietnamese letters, words, and numbers as a way to help them be fluent in Vietnamese.
These young teachers are also a pillar of support for the local people. They play a key role in helping ethnic people change their mindset regarding economic development, poverty reduction, and hunger eradication.
The teacher guides the children on how to grow vegetables to improve their daily meals, how to properly care for themselves, ensure they have a balanced diet.
My youth was mainly spent here. It was a beautiful youth, very meaningful, and I am proud that I can contribute even a small part. I hope my efforts have helped the children grow and mature day by day.
The border areas of the Central Highlands is changing day by day, and young teachers like Mui and Lan take great pride in having contributed a part of their youth to this land.
Brigade 12 of the Trường Sơn Construction Corporation under the Ministry of National Defense is working closely with local authorities to ensure the completion of the new resettlement area by December 31st. More in the following story.
Despite challenging living conditions, this man has dedicated the ground floor of his stilt house to accommodate workers from the new residential project.
I've arranged living and dining spaces for the workers to make it easier for them, so they don't have to worry and can focus on the construction work.
It's very quiet here and convenient for transportation. All the workers at the construction site are working tirelessly to meet the deadlines.
In addition to providing accommodation, local residents visit the construction site regularly to lend a helping hand and ensure the project progresses smoothly.
Local residents frequently visit the construction site to offer suggestions, assisting the construction team in building homes that better reflect traditional values.
With the support of the local people and government, we will make every effort to complete the project by December 22nd, in time for the Vietnam People's Army Day.
In just over a month, beautiful and safe stilt houses will be completed. These new homes will help the people of New Village settle down and begin a new chapter in their lives.
Hòa Bình Province serves as a transition between the Red River Delta and the northwestern mountainous regions. Its topography ranges from plains to high mountains with large rivers flowing through, creating many beautiful natural landscapes. Known as the land of epic tales and home to 6 ethnic groups, the province boasts rich cultural diversity. The stunning landscapes combined with the essence of culture and history give the region immense potential for developing ecotourism and resorts.
Hilly terrain, caves, and rivers create a unique landscape and ecosystem for Hòa Bình Province. Hòa Bình Lake, one of the largest artificial reservoirs in Vietnam, is often called Ha Long Bay on land due to its vast water surface area of around 9,000 hectares, featuring numerous small islands amidst mountainous scenery. A region with vast agricultural land, the province's agriculture, forestry, and aquaculture account for about 15% of its economic structure. As such, it boasts huge potential for developing agricultural tourism and attracting large investments in agri-ecotourism and resort tourism.
Hoa Binh Province is an ideal destination for relaxation, as it takes me just over an hour to drive here from Hanoi. I really enjoy the wonderful atmosphere and stunning landscape. I will take my family and friends here next time.
The province is home to 267 intangible cultural heritages of the Muong people, 73 annual traditional festivals, and 101 recognized historical relics. Khai Ha Festival, which is associated with the wet rice agriculture, was recognized as a national intangible heritage in 2022. In the first 10 months of this year, the province recorded nearly 4 million tourist arrivals, an increase of 27.5% compared to the same period last year.
We have developed multi-destination travel packages to enhance visitors' experience and promote local cultural heritage. Cultural heritage preservation will pave the way for local socio-economic development.
The province's rich natural resources and cultural diversity provide a strong foundation for attracting tourism investors. Local authorities are reaching out to international experts and investors to collaborate on developing diverse tourism products and experiences, aiming to draw more visitors to the region.
Coming up next in our World News, Russia approved revised nuclear doctrine. And nearly 100 food aid trucks looted in Gaza. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree on Tuesday ratifying an updated nuclear doctrine called Basic Principles of State Policies of the Russian Federation on Nuclear Deterrence. This amended doctrine expands the scope of countries and military alliances subject to nuclear deterrence, as well as the list of military threats it aims to counter. Under the new policy, Russia will consider any attack by a non-nuclear country backed by a nuclear power as a joint attack. The doctrine outlines 10 threats to be countered by nuclear deterrence, ranging from hostile nuclear arsenals to uncontrolled proliferations of weapons of mass destruction. Other threats include military buildup near Russian borders, development of anti-ballistic missile systems, deployment of conventional weapons capable of striking Russian territory, and potential sabotage plots that could lead to large-scale environmental disasters. Nearly 108 trucks were looted in southern Gaza on Saturday as hunger continues to worsen in the regions. This incident is described as one of the worst aid losses in the 13-month-long Gaza war. Drivers were forced to unload trucks at a gunpoint, aid workers were injured, and vehicles were extensively damaged. The UN agency did not identify the perpetrators of the looting. It stated that the challenges involved in delivering aid to Gaza had become increasingly unsurmountable, with trucks frequently delayed at various holding points, often looted and subjected to escalating attacks. The humanitarian situation in Gaza continues to worsen, with nearly 75,000 people facing food shortages and many dying of hunger. Weather forecasters have warned that the UK to prepare for disruptive snow and plummeting temperatures after an Arctic blast through the coldest night of the season. More snow is forecast across Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Northern England overnight. The Met Office reported that the early hours of Monday were the chilliest, with the lowest temperatures of minus 7.8 degrees Celsius recorded at Tulloch Bridge in the Highlands. Snow and ice have caused widespread disruptions, forcing school closures and train cancellations across the UK. Scotland has experienced its coldest early winter temperatures since 1998, with some parts of the region recording temperatures below -10 degrees Celsius. On Tuesday, East Midlands Railway saw significant disruptions, with 64 out of 120 planned services either cancelled or delayed by at least half an hour. Snowy conditions have also forced the closures of over 200 schools. On the Greek islands of Lesbos, a family has kept ancient Greek pottery technique alive in their seaside workshop near Madamados, a foreign pottery hub. Their works, crafted from local clay and fired in traditional olive peat fuel cleaned, have been recognized by UNESCO as part of Greece's National Inventory of Intangible Cultural Heritage.
Kouvdes and his family have kept an old technique alive near the once humming pottery hub of Mandamados, where slow and careful methods have largely been overtaken by machines. The pottery is among the last in the Mediterranean that produces clay from local soil, uses a traditional kiln using processed olive pits as a fuel, and paints the pieces with natural lime.
What I learned from my father, I have continued. What my father learned from his father, I learned from my father. The same technique, the same way of preparing the clay, the same method of decorating, the same way of firing the pottery. There is no space for this method to continue. Because digging for clay, pressing it, turning it into powder, passing it through a sieve and making clay from scratch, these practices don't exist anymore.
While modern factory machinery can outpace a single potter's efforts by a factor of 10, Kouvdes remains committed to these time-honored methods.
We used to make 150 pieces by hand every day. But after the 1990s, the press came in, and the press changed a lot of things. Many old crafts started using the press. When we say a press makes 1,000 pieces a day, it's low-cost production, and the handmade work ended.
The history of pottery in Greece is a profound narrative that intertwines utility with artistry, cultural evolution, and societal values. Greek pottery reflects not just functional craftsmanship but also the aesthetic and cultural currents unique to each era.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.